Here in the engineering section, looking at the various systems that are on the boat, giving some sort of explanation as to what they comprise of and what they do. Hopefully it'll demonstrate that everything's being put together in a well-designed and straightforward way. Immediately after shot blasting, Jotun epoxy primer was applied both to the inside and outside. This was cross-checked by surveyor to make sure that the correct dry film thickness was applied. The epoxy was also applied to the integral steel tanks. The bottom of the hull was finished in a 2-pack epoxy tar, a Jotun. The top sides were finished in a very high gloss 2-pack acrylic. The decks are non-slip 2-pack acrylic. All done to a very high standard. We used closed-cell polyurethane spray foam in all areas above the floor line. Noggings were first prepared for the spray foam and then the spray foam applied. Spray foam is both an excellent thermal insulation and a corrosion protector. It's also fire self-extinguishing. Going down below to the engine room, the access is on the port-hand side. The engine is a Raywin 64 horsepower marine diesel at 2,400 RPM. It comes complete with a PRM 2-to-1 reduction gearbox. It's a largish engine of 2.5 litres capacity, along with a wet exhaust system, all very traditional. The alternator is an 80 amp Yanmar. The prop shaft has a flexible R&D coupling and a Volvo deep sea seal type gland. The two diesel tanks have a total capacity of around 1,100 litres. They are connected together with a balance pipe, allowing adjustments as necessary on the trim of the boat. At the back of the portside fuel tank, a sea chest gives easy access to the seawater intakes for both the engine and the marine toilet. The Raywin has 2 diesel filters on the engine and a third primary filter is on the actual diesel tank. A Seaflow domestic water pump along with a large accumulator tank makes sure of a smooth freshwater delivery. The engine is a Raywin model 4D24T. The Raywin distributor in the UK is Engine Plus, which is sited in Gloucester. The boat's energy supply is either diesel, 12 volt or 240 volt. It has none of the disadvantages of using gas. The 2 kilowatt inverter is run from a 300 amp LifePo 4 battery. This provides 240 volt to a domestic microwave and a fridge. The Renogy battery-to-battery charger takes the excess charge from the engine battery to the domestic battery, and it will charge up to a rate of 40 amps per hour. The glorifier tank provides the hot water for the domestic system. It uses the excess hot water from the engine cooling system to heat up the domestic water. It's a large tank, so should be more than sufficient for daily usage. The steering system is both simple and reliable. It's a standard Vetus type setup. Here we are at the wheelhouse, just checking through the various instruments and equipment on board. So, got the standard marine VHF, and it's a Cobra marine submersible. It's got a chart plotter with charts on for the UK coastal waters. Got the Fluxgate compass, which is showing 120 degrees at the moment. The instrument panel, the various dials on, oil pressure, temperature, fuel on the main tank, charging voltage, etc, etc. And we've got a speed and depth gauge, various switches for the wiper, running lights, etc. Then there's the bow thruster, a Vetus bow thruster, and Maxwell windlass, and the steering pump is, all the steering gear is a Vetus steering gear. This one's for the water tanks, they're all combined together, and across here is the black water tank gauge. Down here is the on-off switch for the Maxwell windlass, and the one down there is for the bow thruster, so that they're not constantly switched on all the time. You can sort of separate the circuit from the battery. There will be another battery master switch for the inverter, which is a 2 kilowatt inverter, not, as I said earlier, a 3 kilowatt one. It'll be just near the fire extinguisher position. To start the engine, typically pull her out of gear and move it forward, give it a little bit of revs. On position, and then turn on. Check the water cooling. So that's the console area all sorted. Down here there is the batteries. Just got to move the chair. And got a LiFePO battery and a standard lead acid battery for the starter. So one's for domestic, one's just for the engine. Going down into the saloon, you can look at various other bits of equipment. The hub uses the same fuel as the engine. It's totally enclosed, so the exhaust goes over the side and there is no sort of diesel fumes. It can be used as a fan heater as well to produce 2 kilowatts of heat. It's got a thermostatic switch. Just hold the button in, the white button in, for a few seconds to start it up. And before switching it off, push the white button in again and let it just cool down for a few seconds before switching off. The battery master switches are hidden underneath the worktop. The small red one to the left hand side is the engine dedicated battery master switch. The large white one to the right hand side is for the domestic battery. After switching on at the battery master switch, this is your secondary switching position. is the main fuse board with R.C.D units, and these switch on various circuits. With the flooring, there are water tanks directly beneath each one of these hatch boards, these larger hatch boards. These are integral steel tanks. The first one you can see at the top of the picture, a water tank, middle one for the bilge pump, this side here for another water tank inspection hatch. Beneath the middle one there, that is another water tank, and beneath the sofa there is a holding tank. I'll lift up those hatch boards and then you can see the layout underneath it. The tank at the top of the picture is the holding tank of roughly 300 litres, and at the bottom of the picture one of 3 separate water tanks, each holding around 330 litres. Each tank has its own inspection hatch held down by stainless steel bolts. The box in the middle of the picture holds a float switch for the shower pump out. So before having a shower, must make sure that this needs switching on. Finally, the bilge pump. This drains the whole of the central trough keel from the very front of the boat to the engine room bulkhead. Forward cabin, access to the windlass and the bow thruster. And above us, the windlass, and below, Avita's bow thruster and fuse for the bow thruster. That's the end of the introduction to the systems on Malabar, hopefully providing an honest impression of what the boat is like. Malabar is very new, being less than a year old. She is well equipped and ready to use. She can be viewed at St Olave's Marina on the Broads. To arrange an appointment to see her, please contact me by email, which is bransonboats, all one word, lowercase, @tiscali.co.uk. Thank you.